Sunday has arrived, a day where dreams are fulfilled, where dreams are crushed, and new champions are crowned. Every team in the tournament comes in with the hopes of making it to the glorified final day of the event to show the paintball world what they're made of, fighting their way to center stage for a chance to be featured on the webcast for the world to see. Starting off our Sunday Division 4 semifinal matches, we have the DBS Supersonics taking on Chicago Warped Black. DBS dominated the D side as number 17, Cody McAfee, and number 321, William Prendergast took charge and worked magic against Chicago Warped. Warped tried their luck in the snake, but the Supersonics proved unstoppable up the middle as well, shutting down Chicago Warped 4-0. They advanced to the final match to face off against the winner of Houston Notorious FSU and One Nation 2. In our second semifinal matchup, we have undefeated Houston Notorious FSU taking on One Nation 2. An aggressive Notorious took Dorito 1 off the break, while One Nation would play a little more conservative throughout the match, keeping their runs limited to the corner and the D-side tower. Notorious would continue to hit the D-side off the break, while One Nation struggled to stay alive and make it past the tower, allowing Notorious to march down the field, winning point after point. Notorious FSU took home the win 5-1 against One Nation to advance to the final match against DBS Supersonics. The final matchup is here. The top two Division 4 teams will battle it out on center stage to take home the first NXL gold medal. We have the DBS Supersonics coming into the match with 5 wins and 1 loss, never losing more than 2 points in any of their matches, taking on the undefeated Houston Notorious FSU. In the first point, the Supersonics took the center 50 off the break to set the pace, while Notorious made it out alive into the snake hoping to counter. And counter they did, taking the first point of the match. Then Notorious goes up on bodies and receives a major penalty, but luckily for them, they still had a player alive to run in and hit the buzzer, making it a 2-0 game.
Yeah, so it looks like Notorious is going to be getting checked out by the referee, and they are going to win this point. So Notorious is now going to go up 2-0 here against Not a Race 2. It's highest point total at the end of 12 minutes of regulation time. So we're going to be right back. Stick with us. Welcome back here, 2015 NXL Great Lakes Open. Watching the D4 X-Ball final right now. With 6 minutes and 13 seconds to go here, Notorious up by 2.
DBS ran down the snake side, taking the point and closing the gap to 1. The Supersonics put themselves in the attack position yet again by taking the center 50 off the break, looking to tie up the match at 2, but ended up unsuccessful as they received a penalty and went down 3 points to 1. The Supersonics tried to fight back, but it was too little too late, as the clock winded down and Houston Notorious took the 3-2 win and first place in Division 4 X-Ball. Next up, we have our first semifinal match in the semi-pro division featuring Distortion, who just came off a close 3-2 win against Louisville Asylum, taking on Sacramento DMG, who got to the semis by beating AC Diesel 5-3 in the quarterfinal round. The match was a back-and-forth battle as the teams traded bodies across the field. Distortion was fighting to get into the snake, but the fantastic off-the-break shooting from DMG players Nicholas Ormrod and Jacob Stewart kept them from making it successfully. DMG tied it up by pushing down the D side, but they weren't the only ones with strong lanes off the break. With the game tied at 2, Distortion picked off a DMG player on the D side, winning the point and taking the lead 3-2. With time winding down, DMG pushed aggressively down the field in hopes of tying it up and taking it into overtime. They eliminated the Distortion players and rushed for the buzzer, but the push by Ormrod and DMG didn't come fast enough, as they came just shy of the buzzer as the game clock expired. Distortion would squeak by with a 3-2 victory over Sacramento DMG to move into the finals. Our next semi-pro semifinal matchup comes between undefeated Seattle Uprising and the Charlotte Bloodhounds. Uprising would come into this match strong, ready to maintain their undefeated record. The Bloodhounds struggled to stay alive and keep up with the attack on the other side, as Uprising stormed down the field point after point, taking a 5-0 victory to head into the final match against Distortion, sending the Bloodhounds to fight for third place against DMG.
Looking at Seattle Uprising taking on Distortion here, and the story with these two teams is we've seen Distortion, we've seen Uprising before in this exact position, and these two teams, these squads, are trying to build their teams up to eventually go pro. We knew that Seattle Uprising, they wanted to get in here, and they wanted to get in the pro division this year. They didn't make it in though, so they're trying to prove to the world that they deserve to be one of those teams, and the top semi-pro team at the end of the year will advance into the pro division.
The finals. Center stage. Only the best 2 semi-pro teams remain standing. Distortion entered the final match with 4 wins, 1 tie, and 1 loss, while Seattle Uprising went undefeated through their 6 matches leading up to this point, never losing more than 2 points, and appeared to be the favorite to win. Uprising started out by stacking 3 in the back center, hoping to use their off-the-break shooting skills to eliminate a body early. Joel Eaton from Uprising made it up the D side after losing his teammate Nate Schrader and went to work, shooting out Distortion players in the middle of the field and taking the first point of the match. Distortion fought back after a penalty on Seattle Uprising to bring the game to 1-1 with just 5 minutes remaining.
So, good spread there. Here comes Nate Schrader up the middle. He's going to launch to come get the A bunker. He's going to trade out and then run off the field. So 4-on-4 now, but good field position for Distortion.
And a cool move right there by Nate Schrader.
Get rid of him quick.
Yeah, taking Parrish out.
At the end of a long 5-minute back and forth point, with time ticking away on the clock, Uprising made a few big risky moves up the field, hoping to close this game out and take the victory.
Borromeo and the snake on your screen. Borromeo wrapping around, trying to clear out that back center. He's trying to get a shot on him. Just 10 seconds left to go, and past the 50-yard line. Here comes Uprising. Arnold launches. Arnold all the way, runs all the way through, gets one, gets another one, it looks like, and Eaton backing him up. Puts extra ball, still 1 player left alive, back corner bunker on that snake side, and that is going to do it here for regulation time. We are going to end up
there's a major right here.
tie, and that's it, a major on Distortion.
But the red penalty flag flied as the point concluded, and refs handed Uprising a last-second penalty that would not take the game into overtime as everyone expected, but instead would cost them the match as Distortion took the win 2-1 to claim the title as the NXL Great Lakes Open Semi-Pro Champions.
Kerr from Distortion. Mike, you were the last body out there when you saw Uprising storming down the field, trying to get that win in just a few seconds. What was running through your mind?
Well, my buddy Dowling was still in the snake corner, but we were just trying to hold off the clock at that point. It was too late, so thought we were gonna go into overtime, but their Dorito guy kept playing on, running down the field, and they got a major with the swing point, so it made it easy for us.
Really close. Time was draining down, and we got it. We pulled it out with a swing point. The other team got a major. They tried running down the field. They needed a little more discipline, I guess, in the end of that match, but they failed to do so, and they got the penalty, and we got the win.
It's basically like a 4-on-3 situation, and under 10 seconds left, and we have guys coming down the field. Our guy shoots one off the snake side, and there's 2 guys left, and we're coming down the field. Our snake guy is shooting their back center in the pack and shooting their Dorito player, and our guy gets the Dorito player clean and then trades with the back center, right? As soon as he feels a hit from him, that's a trade, right? In all honesty, we probably wouldn't have enough time to hit the buzzer, but you have a ref coming from behind him, chasing after him, thinking he sees something, the game's over, and all of a sudden, he just says like, hey, I'm gonna throw like a red flag. Number one, a red flag wasn't deserved. It's probably a minor penalty, if anything, if that was a leg hit. But since they traded, there should be no penalty. And number 2, let us go to overtime. As far as the loss and as far as our team, I think it's pretty dangerous and motivating, to get a second place like that. Because first place is nice and you feel happy. But I hope our team gets very motivated from this and works twice as hard and really has a vision of what we want to accomplish long term.
In the professional quarterfinal matches, undefeated favorites LA Infamous lost to Upton 187 Crew 5-4. XFactor defeated Dynasty 6-5 to advance after a controversial overshooting call which ended Dynasty's chances at the event. Heat played a close game against the Ironmen in a low-scoring match that ended 2-1 with Heat moving on. As Impact took down Damage 6-3 to also move on and finish off the professional quarterfinals. In one of the lowest scoring games of the tournament, 2 superstar-filled teams, Houston Heat and Edmonton Impact, met in our first professional semifinal match. These teams had played each other once already at this event, and Heat came away with the victory in the prelims, but they would need to beat Impact twice in one tournament to make it to the finals. The first point saw these two teams trade bodies in cross-field gunfights while they jockeyed for position. Justin Rabikoff proved to be the difference, getting a couple kills on the Snake side to give Impact the lead 1-0. Heat got Thomas Taylor out wide in the next point, as Impact lost a couple bodies and it looked like Heat was in control, up 3 bodies to 2. But again, Impact refused to roll over, as Justin Rabikoff and Joshua Met stepped up to win a low body situation to give Impact a 2-0 lead with 10 minutes to play. The next point was another close battle, but Heat's Konstantin Fedorov pushed hard on the D side after going up 2 bodies and getting Sergei Solnaiskov into the center 50 to pull within 1. In the final point, Justin Cornell, Joshua Met, and Zach Yakimek held off a big last-minute push from Fedorov and Chad George. In the end, it came down to a 1-on-1 with Heat's Chad Boucher and Impact's Joshua Met. Met got the final kill, playing a perfect game to punch Impact's ticket to the finals.
Joshua Met back at his flag station. Chad Boucher is going to have to attack. Joshua Met just has to live for another 13 seconds. No need to attack, no need to engage, and he goggles Chad Boucher with 5 seconds left to seal the deal for Edmonton Impact. Right there, Joshua Met with the big power move at the end, and Impact is going to be going to the finals with a 2-1 victory over Houston Heat.
And you can see Chad Boucher could not believe it himself that Met was able to make the shot on him.
Despite beating Infamous in the quarterfinals, Upton 187 crew entered the semifinals as the underdogs to San Antonio XFactor, a team who has won multiple pro tournaments, including a world championship 2 years ago, and were undefeated at the tournament so far.
And this next game coming at you here, semifinal matchup in the pro division. Upton 187 crew going to be taking on San Antonio XFactor. You have to give San Antonio XFactor the nod as far as being the favorite in this event, just because of how seasoned and experienced that they are. A world championship paintball team, won some tournaments.
Though they attacked up the center early, the game didn't start out well for the crew, as they lost their first point after a penalty from one of their stars, Max Trailer, and went down 2-0 because of some solid work by XFactor's Colt Roberts, Derek Jordan, and veteran Grayson Goff. But then Josh Pike and Will Huntoon stepped up, with 187's recent addition Nick Sloviak to pull within 1. In the next point, Billy Bernaccia got his second penalty of the match, leaving Grayson Goff by himself. Thomas Mantoni and Trailer combined to finish the point, and 187 tied the score up at 2. The next point, Colt Roberts made an old-school low crawl up to the D-side 50 to get in position for a perfect snapshot on Pike, but drew a major trying to run down the last player on the D-side, giving 187 the point and the lead.
Unfortunate turn of events for San Antonio XFactor and Colt Roberts. He made such an awesome crawl to get up there, and then rolls around and owns Pike as a beautiful shot, and then that left just Nick Sloviak over here, which he then tries to seize the advantage that he created and run Nick down, but must have got shot cross field.
Yeah.
XFactor then started with 4 bodies. They made a risky play, sending Bernaccia to the snake off the break, but he made it alive, and XFactor wins a clutch point to tie it up. The score was 3-3 with 2:50 left to play. Both teams initially looked solid in the last point, but Colt Roberts again clocked in to give his team the advantage with a shot on Matt Derula. Grayson Goff pushed past the 50 in the center to open it up, and 187 conceded game point with 25 seconds left in the match.
Gets a kill, a G out of the back corner bunker.
So here comes Grayson. Grayson just gets obliterated, trying to move up, but hey, you got to like that move. Here comes Colt Roberts.
But then Colt Roberts got another kill in the center. So Colt Roberts, I think, shot the 3 bodies that dropped for 187, and it still wasn't enough time left, though. So
they threw bodies forward, but the last-second push wasn't enough, and XFactor took the 1-point victory and moved on to face Impact in the finals.
2 veteran teams in 187. They fought hard. It was a very close battle, but in the end, San Antonio XFactor proved the better team here today. So you could see that, you know, they gave it a shot, man. That was a close one. They shot a couple XFactor guys, but just didn't have enough time to close it out.
Though they lost and were eliminated, Upton 187 proved they belong alongside the best teams in paintball with this close-fought match against one of the best teams the league has to offer.
Greatest team. So let's take a look at how the brackets played out here. Infamous was defeated by 187, and 187 advanced to play XFactor, who took down Dynasty in a very controversial match. And then Houston Heat in one of the lowest scoring games that we've seen, other than Heat's next game against Impact, was 2-1 over the Ironman. And then Damage was defeated by Impact 6-2. to 3, and then Impact went on to beat Heat as well in a very close game. So there it is, as it stands, the finals here for the first NXL event, the 2015 Great Lakes Open. It's going to be San Antonio XFactor and Edmonton Impact.
Definitely my favorite feature of the Spire is it's just plain reliability.
It has an anti-jam feature in it, but you never notice it because the reality is that it never jams. It's reliable, it's lightweight, and it always works.
Doesn't matter how you land, all your paint's going to stay in your loader.
The 260 is one of those things that just gives you an extra couple balls to throw back at your opponent.
It is ridiculously light. Yeah, you know, you're only talking about ounces, but in the grand scheme of things, you want to be as fast, as agile as you possibly can be, and the Spire definitely leans towards that.
It stays consistent, I can rely on it.
It's one of those things that you just put on your gun, it always works.
In the final and most important match in the Pro Division at the NXL Great Lakes Open, Edmonton Impact and San Antonio XFactor fought in a very close, back-and-forth battle that would go into overtime. The first 2 points were all XFactor. Impact's Justin Cornell got a major penalty in the first point, and XFactor didn't lose a body. Then in the second point, Colt Roberts continued to set the pace for the front players with a 3-pack run-through in the center of the field to put his team up by 2.
Colt Roberts is just going to run all the way through and trade out with Justin Cornell. I think Roberts is still alive. My God, Colt Roberts is still alive. After that run through, he finally gets shot. What an amazing move by Colt Roberts.
Getting a 3-pack right there, coming through the middle of the field. Here comes Billy Bonaccia down the snake side. He's going to get Joshua Met.
But Impact dialed in their off-the-break shots and got some help when Archie Montemayor drew a major penalty to pull within 1.
Stanzak went up the middle.
And a major penalty now on San Antonio XFactor. And I think that was Archie Montemayor in the back corner bunker. So Archie, the normally consistent Archie Montemayor, is going to go over and give the ref a piece of his mind for that penalty.
Forced to start the next point with 3 bodies. XFactor evened up the body count before Chad Bougere and Justin Cornell went to work and tied the match up 2-2 with 12 minutes and 38 seconds remaining.
Nice work by Chad Bougere. The tables have turned on Colt Roberts. Beautiful move by Chad Bougere. And then a rundown and get a little bit of redemption for Justin Cornell running down Billy Bernacci, who was the last player left alive.
Though on fire with his moves and his shots, Justin Cornell drew his second major of the finals, allowing Dixon Yang, Michael Kovar, and Grayson Goff to score another point for XFactor.
Penalties on Justin Cornell, so man, he's playing great and getting tons of penalties all at the same time. Oh God, so that is going to do it in San Antonio XFactor. Michael Kovar, solid work over there.
It was 2013. They made the finals almost every single event, and then just kept getting second places because they were getting final. They were getting penalties, you know, like, and I don't feel like they're a dirty team.
Yeah,
you know, like not particularly, right?
Yeah, they're not. They're definitely not a dirty team. But you know, look, sometimes the
players
ride the line. Sometimes the faucet's on and sometimes it's not. Right now, the faucet is definitely on for Justin Cornell, which is unfortunate for Impact because you know he's also playing really great. So for Bart Yakimek, who's the coach, it's like, well, I can't really pull you out because you're killing tons of guys. But at the same time, could you please stop getting some penalties because I need you. And you're kind of letting us down a little bit when it comes to the penalties, but you're really hooking us up when it comes to the kill count. So, I mean, poor Bart's probably sitting there and be like, oh, just smashing his clipboard against his head and be like, Justin, please, I need you to be a little bit more sensitive when those shots come in.
Let's see who's...
Though not making the flashy moves that got him onto the list of paintball greats, Justin Rabikoff was playing outstanding and helped tie up the final match 3-3 for Impact. XFactor then scored 2 points in a row on the backs of Colt Roberts and Derek Jordan and some amazing off-the-break shots. Down by 2 with under 5 minutes to play, Impact called a timeout to assess the dire situation. The teams traded quick points, but XFactor still had a 1-point lead with 2 minutes to play. All they had to do was hold Impact or score 1 more point and they would have taken the victory. But Justin Rabikoff, Justin Cornell, Josh Wilmette, and Zach Yakimek would not let that happen.
He's going to come in next to Wilmette. Justin Cornell is past the 50 snake. Here comes the run. There goes Montemayor. There goes Roberts. There goes Jordan. Just Kovar in the corner. Rabikoff with 21 seconds left. Justin Cornell shoots out Kovar. And here comes Edmonton Impact.
I mean, I don't want to put it all on one person, but if Billy Bernacci had stayed alive in that snake, I don't think that Edmonton Impact, we would have had a different story here.
It would have been much harder.
Hey, but hats off to Edmonton Impact maintaining their composure, down by a point, and
all their players were looking at when they heard the 60 seconds, 30 seconds go off, they look at the clock again and they know, hey, we have to tie this.
And who was there again? Justin Rabikoff.
They tied the game up and it went into overtime. XFactor lost 2 bodies early. Cornell and Yak Max slowly but surely worked out the last XFactor bodies and helped their team win the very first NXL tournament.
Yak trades out with Grayson Goff, just one body left alive. It's only Colt Roberts.
And Justin Cornell handling business on that snake side, and a triumphant Edmonton Impact are going to take this overtime victory against San Antonio XFactor. Hard-fought battle here, but with 3 minutes and 20-ish seconds left here, Edmonton Impact only losing a body. And
Way to go. Yes. Way to go. Come back. Wow. Way to go, Rob.
Hey guys, I am here with Justin Cornell. Congratulations, you guys just won first place at the first NXL event. You were killing it in the snake when you weren't getting penalties. What was going on with all those?
Well, the reffing was tough here. They were really aggressive, and it's just sometimes they see anything and they were throwing flags. Everyone was getting them all weekend. So it was tough to transition from the rest from PSP, but it was good all around. And then, yeah, that's just how it goes.
Now, XFactor was leading it for most of the time, and you guys came back for the win, but what did you adjust to make sure that you could get this final win? Because it looked like they could run away with it at one point.
Yeah, we just kept doing different stuff and just kept fighting. That was the biggest thing. You looked around, no one gave up, and we just kept going at it, and you get rewarded with that. So.
All right, well, your team is yelling at me to let you go, so congratulations, go celebrate. That's it, guys. You have your first place winner, Impact. Back to you, Matty.
It was another come-from-behind victory for the best team in paintball over the past 2 years. A victory for the history books.
Fun when you win again, right?
Thank you so much.
Make sure to check out all the action from the second event of the 2015 NXL season as the Virginia Beach Open goes down on playnxl.com/live August 7th through the 9th.